Hello and welcome to CHEMS, Careers, Hacks, Engineering, Mindset and Stories. Today we have with us Dr. Jing Liu, Associate Professor and Engineering Research Chair at the University of Alberta and the brilliant mind behind several cutting-edge projects in corrosion science, electrochemistry and sustainable energy system. From supercritical CO₂ corrosion to hydrogen pipelines and material innovation, her work is at the intersection of research and real-world impact. Thank you so much, Professor, for accepting my invitation for the interview.
Thanks for inviting me.
So before we dive in, let's talk more about your journey, what led you into this field and what inspired you to get into corrosion science and material research.
So to me, I think it was early in my undergraduate study. I was in petroleum engineering, not specific petroleum engineering, like oil and gas pipeline design. So when I was an undergraduate student, we had this chance to visit oil tank site, refineries, and from there I noticed that corrosion is not just a maintenance problem. It actually is a very scientific and challenging engineering problem. So at that point, I find out, okay, so if we can get into the fundamentals, know and how to design materials or how to control the operation parameter, and then we can control this risk. We can manage to put this risk under control. So that actually lured me in these areas. And also it involves huge safety problem and can save lots of money for the industry. So overall, all of this brought me in. That's a very beginning starting point.
Sure. And then you worked in a lot of CCUS projects like corrosion. So how important is corrosion in this, like carbon capture or hydrogen pipelines? Like what impact does it have? Is it a major thing to focus on, or is it it could wait? Like what impact does corrosion have?
Absolutely. I think right now for CCUS and hydrogen technology, corrosion at this moment is still a little bit silent, but is still a significant challenge in these two areas. So for example, in CCUS, you deal with high pressurized, even supercritical CO₂ mixed with different kind of impurities. So each of this can affect the risk, like the possibility for this whole infrastructure, no matter it's pipeline or storage tank, to fail. Now, so that's for the CCUS part. And I think for the CO₂ storage and transportation is today. So in North America, we already have over half centuries of history in this area. But hydrogen is new, and it brought in a different kind of monster, like hydrogen embrittlement. And everybody knows that hydrogen is highly flammable and explosive. So the danger, the risk behind this hydrogen industry is just we have to make sure that it's under control. So I think as we rely more on the CCUS technology and more on the hydrogen technology, ensuring that material can withstand those monsters and ensure the safety of the communities and industry, not only our residents communities, also industry community, definitely is very critical.
Okay. What did you find most exciting or surprising while leading corrosion studies for high pressure CO₂ or the hydrogen pipelines? Something which you didn't expect and a major challenge, and how did you overcome that?
I think what continues to excite me is how minor change can affect the possibility of failure. So, in terms of CCUS, so the minor impurity level of the CO₂, for example, the CO₂ you capture, they're not pure, right?
Yep.
You have different kind of impurities. So even ppm level of water or SOx, NOx, all those impurities can change the corrosion mechanism significantly. And for in terms of the hydrogen part, so for hydrogen transportation or hydrogen storage, the minor change in for example, the steel microstructure, precipitates, inclusions, those are minor changes. Those can, so what excites me is even minor changes, even not just the chemistry of the environment you are dealing with, or the material you are dealing with. Minor change can change the whole story.
A small thing can change everything. So you have worked on so many projects with CCUS related projects. So is there any one project which really stood out, which really made an impact, like which you could feel like the future industry could make use of it?
I think so far the most promising one in my project is high entropy coating material.
Okay.
Because we designed this novel high entropy coating material for future hydrogen combustion engines. Now the hydrogen combustion involves extreme high temperature. But even though we cannot, like toward this route, even though we cannot achieve it as high hydrogen combustion engine material, but we can still step back a little bit to see if it can work for other high temperature application. For example, waste management, and you have incineration plants, all of those. Yeah, so I would think among all the projects, this one would make an impact in the foreseeable future.
So obviously, like I worked under you in the capstone project, and so many other people are working. So like, what do you see when choosing a student to work in your capstone project? Like, is there any particular skills they need? Because like, a lot of people out there actually want to work in research, like in corrosion science and material research. So if they had to, like, is there any particular skill they can develop, or is there any course they can take which could help them in the research?
I think for me, choosing graduate student, even we have this USRA summer internship where we host undergraduate student. The first thing is curiosity. Like you have to come to me first, right? Tell me that you are interested. I think that's as a heart of good research. Other technical skills can be taught. But a natural curiosity is driving you towards to this one. On the other side, I think resilience, like nothing can, like, you will always run into difficulties.
Makes sense.
But if your personality, you are resilient to handle all those difficulties, I think that's also very important.
Okay.
The other thing is timely communication.
Okay.
So things you don't like or things you have doubt, you can always talk to your supervisors, right? If you don't say that, we don't know. I think timely communication is also very good. All the other technical skills, as I said, I think as long as you're driven, you have curiosity, you can learn everything.
Makes sense. So it's like more about learning your work and coming to you and like telling that if good at this and bad at this, like how can I be of help?
Yeah. So I feel like the graduate student journey is a tree.
Okay.
There are so many branches. So the student is the one to exploring those branches. We are the trimmers to tell you, you should follow this route and then you can grow taller and taller.
Makes sense. And if like a lot of students want to actually pursue a career in like corrosion science and material research, so like what advice would you give to them? Like how should they start? Like based on your journey and stuff, like what advice could you give, or what would be the one thing which you didn't do that you would expect the future students to do? Is there anything?
I would still go back to curiosity. Be curious. Okay. I remember my PhD supervisor we are very good friends. He was always criticizing, even until today. I don't consider myself as curious as I should be. Right now, I feel like I'm mainly focused on corrosion and material degradation, but maybe I should explore more to see. So yeah, my advice is always be curious and be brave. be brave to embracing failures.
Is there any other advice which you would like to any grad students, or is there any other projects which you're working on which is exciting?
Other project, we work on this co-refining bio-oil project. You know that one? I think the most exciting part is not just one project, it's a research program. Myself call it repurposing.
Okay.
So repurposing the current oil, well, here is Alberta, right? Repurposing the current oil and gas infrastructure for this new decarbonization future. So you can repurpose current pipelines to transport CO₂ or hydrogen, and you can repurpose the current refinery, not only just refine petrol crude, but also refine bio crude. So this is a most excited research program right now I'm working on.
So I think my last question would be, so a lot of students, like, especially with the UofA and especially in Canada specifically, we have two types, which is like the MSc and the MH, Master of Science and Master of Engineering. So who do you think should do MEng and who do you think should do MSc? Like, how should they choose based on what, like, criteria? Is there something which you could advise?
Ideally, I think after your undergraduate study, if during your undergraduate study you already have something in your mind, so a research direction that you are interested in, I would suggest you go for MSc to explore that direction more in depth. But most of the students after their undergraduate study, they still don't know what they are into, right? In that case, in the meantime, while you're exploring, you can go through MEng, take more courses, and in the meantime, use a capstone project as an opportunity to explore, talk to many professors, faculty members, and to find your interest.
So like a follow-up, so like for MSc you told, if you're more into research. So for someone,
if you're more interested in research and you know what you want.
Makes sense. So like how, like someone from, like considering India, so if someone from India is interested in research and they want to get into the MSc program, like how should they contact the professor, or like how should they get in touch with them, or like tell them that this is my research area and like trying to get into the MSc program?
Well, definitely you can email the professors if you have something in your mind, a research direction you're interested. You could Google who are the professors in Canada are working on this area, and just introduce yourself while email. If you got a good chance, they will respond to you.
So is it necessary to include like any publication, or like is it necessary to have a publication, or just like what should be in the email? Like how should they introduce, or like how, like based on your experience, like what would you want to see in an email? If someone had to reach out to you to join your research group, what would you like to see in that email?
I think for me is because I'm from the medic side. If you have a metallurgy background, that's a keyword. And if you chose, for example, you're interested in my research area, you should see what my current research interests are. And in the email, you should have all those buzzwords align with my research interest, right? And for sure, you should have a good GPA for your undergraduate study. So in the email, always bold the buzzword align with my interest.
Like do your homework well.
Do your homework well. Sometimes you could say that the email is so universal, so general. With those, to me, I directly delete it.
Okay, so do your research, do your homework, and make sure you've read through all your research.
Yeah.
Okay.